Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Saturday. It is the 4th of April, 2026. It's Wood Memorial Day from Aqueduct, and I'm going to look at the Wood Memorial and all the other stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. Remember to go check out my Keeneland Bluegrass preview today. It looks like it's going to be an excellent card today at Keeneland, so remember to go check that out. But it's the final Wood Memorial at Aqueduct, and I'm glad actually. I can't wait for Belmont to reopen. I know I'm in the minority on that opinion, but it's good to see Aqueduct go to Belmont. 'Cause if you see some of the field size we've had in the last couple months, it's time. Let's look at the stakes action today from Aqueduct. Races 3, 6, and then races 10, 11, and 12. So quite a few races to look at. The third race from Aqueduct, it is the Excelsior Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards here. We feel 7 horses entered. The 5 horses will actually scratch run out Laurel today, so we'll be down to a field of 6 horses going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter here in the Excelsior. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, Classicist as a top selection. There we go. 4-3-6-1 in the superfecta. 4-3-6-1 super. Top selection 4 is Classicist. This 4-year-old called by Curlin. Tom Pletcher trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 4th of February here at Aqueduct. A mile and eighth and option 75 claimer. First starts in September. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths that day. And he just kind of stalked Yo Daddy that day, or Yo Daddy came from a little bit behind. Actually stalked this horse. This horse stalked the pace. Yo Daddy just had the jump from the back pack. This horse was just a little bit flat. It was his first starts in September. I do think he needed the race. I like with the getting the extra furlong off the last race, coming back here to stakes quality horse, not the world's deepest race. Blinkers on, should be forwardly paced. I think this horse can improve a lot. Ran 2 back here on the 13th of September at Aqueduct, a mile and eighth in the lounge race for 88,000. Went by a nose. He was on the front end. He got a little leg weary in the lane, but he held on to it. I thought it was a very good effort that day. I thought he ran as hard at Saratoga prior to that. 9 furlongs in the main special weight. He won by 1 3/4 lengths, and on the front end in a hand rod late, he really came home clear. He's done everything right. He's bred for the longer trip. I think he could win. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 3 horse here, Intrepitor, can't speak today, pardon me. Haven't had enough coffee yet. But I think this Mike Maker trained Ricardo Santana Jr. ridden for a Colt for a gelding could win also. He ran most recently on the 7th of March here at Aqueduct over the mile and a quarter in option 50, and he won by 3.5 lengths. Everything his own way on the front end, setting some harness fractions to 3/4 basically, kind of some beach somewhere kind of fractions. But he basically won in a trot. That was a very good race. Prior to having a start lounge race with the 9 furlongs locally, he won by a nose and came from the dueling trip. He really came home clear. His most recent races haven't been half bad. As the trips get longer, he's been getting better. I'm going to use him on the ticket, but to recount my selection for the third from Aqueduct, it is the Excelsior. Going to take the 4-horse Classicist. Give kudos to the 3-horse 4-3-6-1 Super 4-3 in the multi race. Let's head over to the Carter now. Sixth race from Aqueduct. It is the Carter Stakes. It's a Grade 2 event going for a $300,000 purse. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards here. We have a field of 6 horses entered here. The 6 horses will actually be withdrawn. It's only 5 horses heading in the Carter. The distance of ground 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 5 horse rated by merit. I'm going to go 5-2-4-1 in the superfecta. 5-2-4-1 super, top selection of 5 horse rated by merit. This 4-year-old colt by Battalion Runner. Chad Brown trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. The horse hasn't been seen since the 4th of October. That came here at Aqueduct over the 1 turn mile in the Discovery. Won by 1 1/4 lengths that day. He sat on the front end and he kept going, saying some good fractions that day. 109 to 3/4. He flew home clear with a 106 buyer. He jumped up a lot in his 3-year-old debut. His only start actually as a 3-year-old. He's coming here to a 4-year-old debut. 7 furlongs. Chad Brown, decent numbers off the bench. I think this horse could, possibly steal it on the front end from Bookham Dano, who is the, also a likely winner. But his previous races as a 2-year-old in the autumn of 24 came at Gulfstream, mile 16th in the Florida Stallion Series in reality series. Again, pardon me. He won by 8 lengths that day, and on the front end from the rail, he basically won in a trot. A very good race with a 93 buyer. Prior to that, around a 1 turn in the Florida Stallions Affirm Series at at Gulfstream, winning by 1 3/4 lengths with the 99 buyer. Again, that was a very good run. He's for 5 for 5. He's a very fast horse. He's training well pace and coming here at 8 to 5. I think he's a very likely winner, but you can't throw out the 2 horse Bookham Dano for Paco and Derek Ryan. He's a winner of his last three. He won the True North at Saratoga on the slot bond Belmont Stakes weekend. Came back to win the Vandeveld with a 111 career best buyer by 2 1/4 lengths, come from the mid pack, and then won the Forgo a little, not as impressive as the previous two races, but came with a 93 buyer winning by a length. He had to use a lot that day, but it was still a good run. But, he's coming here to Aqueduct where he hasn't had the best of records. He likes Saratoga a lot. And when he comes here to Aqueduct, he just kind of, stinks up the place. The most recent race here came in in the winter of 24, where he ran the Scar Mile, where he finished fifth by 5 1/4 lengths that day, where he didn't get out of the gate and he just did not show a lot that day. But his form last year was very good. He's training well at Tampa. Give him a shot at even money, but he might need the race off the bench. But to recount my selection now for the 6 from Aqueduct, it is the Carter Stakes. Gonna go with the 5 horse here, rated by merit. Give kudos to the 2 horse Bookham Dano, 5-2-4-1 Super, 5-2 in the multi race. So we're gonna head over to race number 10. 10th race from Aqueduct. It is the Distaff Stakes. It's a grade two event, or excuse me, grade three event going for $150,000 purse race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,400 meters or 7 furlongs in the Distaff. Gonna take the 8 horse Grammy Girl as a top selection, 8573 in the superfecta. 8573 super, top selection 8 horse Grammy Girl. This 5-year-old mare by Mastery. Safi Joseph Jr. trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently at Laurel, 6.5 on the mud in November, and black type stakes. Winning by a head that day from a tracking trip. She had to duel that day, but she came home clear with an 87 buyer. That can definitely win against these horses here today. She's refreshing here off the bench. Safi, decent numbers off the bench. I think this horse can improve a lot. Ran two back here on the 13th of November at Aqueduct, 6.5 in a allowance race for 88,000. Finishing second by a head that day. He's had a bit of a, not a bit of a wide trip, had a wide trip on Rockaway Boulevard that day, but he stalked that pace that day. He closed up well. Senzo Perot, who was the next start winner, really came home clear that day to win. But this horse ran his heart out that day, and then late October, 6.5 in a starter allowance race, won by a half a length that day from a tracking trip. I thought that was a very good race with an 87 buyer. Has consistently run some high 80 buyers that, like I said, can run well here today. Likes this track. I think this horse is 6 to 1 can get a piece of it. I think the 5 horse here, who is with the Angels for Jose Loscano and Linda Rice, could win also. Ran in the correction here about a month ago with the 6. Only had 3 other rivals, but this horse won by 4 1/4 lengths. And from a tracking trip, she really, came home clear. Her race prior to that, Opposite 85, I thought was very good also. Here going 6.5 in January on a very cold day, winning by 3.5 lengths. Again, stupidly wide, but had to grind it out to the wire, which this horse did. Likes this track. Has only lost twice here, and those two losses were seconds. Other than that, she's been doing perfect. Her open company races haven't been half bad. Watch out for a 3 to 1. She could definitely get a piece of it. And even the 7 horse Immersive for Brad Cox and Manny Franco, Breeders' Cup winner, winning the juvenile fillies a couple seasons ago at Del Mar, came back to run in the Monomoy Girl last summer, where she placed well at Churchill. And then the coaching club, she got beat by Scottish Lassie, who came home clear. Came back to win the Seneca at Churchill quite nicely in the fall. But come back here around a 1 turn. Another horse that could win, 7 to 5, let's use her. But Brad Cox had noticed when he ships to New York sometimes, those horses won't, fire. Like a very over bet, but they won't fire. So just keep that in mind going forward. But to recount my selection for the 10th now from Aqueduct, it is the Distaff. Gonna take the 8 horse Grammy Girl. Give kudos to the 5 horse with the Angels and the 7 horse Immersive. 8573 Super, 857 in the multi race. Let's get to the 11th race now from the Big A. The 11th race from Aqueduct, it is the Gazelle Stakes. It's a grade three event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 9 horses entered to go 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 in the Gazelle. Gonna take the 2 horse Always a Runner as a top selection. 2-1-6-5 for me in the superfecta. 2-1-6-5 super, top selection 2 horse Always a Runner. This 3-year-old filly by Gun Runner here. Chad Brown trains. Dylan Davis gets the mount. This horse is still not a maiden, but is making his first start around stakes quality horses for first time and first time winners. Most recently, 6th February, Tampa, mile 40 and a main special weight for 32,000. Put him by 6.5 lengths that day. He sat back early. He had that wide move, which isn't half bad there Tampa, closing from the back of the pack, and he flew home clear with a 59 buyer. It was a little low, but it was still a good, good race. Should really improve to the second race here today, getting a mile and eighth. Should be forwardly paced from where he's drawn. I think this horse could go up a lot. Has a beautiful pedigree here with Gun Runner here, and they think highly of the horse for buying it for just over $1 million. Training well pacing since the last race, 49 flat for the half mile and 49 and 3 for a half mile of the week prior. Chad Brown, decent numbers, 25% from winners last time out and off the bench, even with this kind of time period, really good numbers also. I think this horse can improve a lot. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the one horse could find some paradise also in the winner's circle. The one horse paradise is 3-year-old filly by Gunrunner. Brad Cox trains, Manny Franco gets them out. But like I said earlier, watch out for these Brad Cox horses coming to Aqueduct where they can get overbet at times and not fire. But this horse won here in the Busher a little overbet, just over even money that day, but he won by 3 3/4 lengths that day from a tracking trip. She didn't get out of the gate so clearly, but she flew on the front end. That was a good race. She came back to she ran prior to that, right after the New Year's at Gulfstream, 1 mile in the main specialty, where she won by 3 lengths. Everything her own way in the front end. She was driving home. That was a good race. And then on debut, going 3/4 at Churchill, she finished second by 1/4 lengths that day and had a bit of a wide trip over a shorter trip also, which I don't think she was quite appreciative to. She showed heart, but she really wants to go the two-turn mile in the eight. She's going to get it today. She's drawn well. It wouldn't surprise me if she wins. We'll use her on the ticket. And even watch out for the 6 horse here, Pashmina for Rabatras and Ramon Vasquez. Ran most recently at Sunland in the Sunland Park Oaks, where he finished third by 3 lengths that day. Battle of Rouge, who was an next start winner, came home clear that day. This horse just had this, not the best of trips in the lane, but she got down the race course well. Her Silver Bullet Day Stakes, I thought they could have went a little bit faster for her. She was just a little bit flat that day. And the Untappable, they had a 3/4 breather, which probably, and also a bit of a troubled trip in the lane, which cost this horse. But coming here, if she can run a race like she ran on the 20th of November, I think she could win. I think she'll see a bit of a quicker pace than she saw on the Silver Bullet Day. 7-2, let's use her on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 11th from Aqueduct, now it is the Gazelle. Going to take the 2 horse, always a runner. Give kudos to the 1 horse Paradise and the 6 horse Pashmina. Warrior 2165 Super, 216 in the multi race to the 12th now, the feature. The nightcap from Aqueduct, it is the Wood Memorial. It's a grade 2 event going for 3/4 of $1 million purse. Race for 3-year-olds here. 13 horses were originally entered, but we're going to be down to a field of 12 horses because the 11 horse Ananino will run to the Bluegrass today. So 12 horses going a lap around the main track, which is 1,800 meters in circumference, or a mile and eighth here in the Wood. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 9 horse Bravaro's top selection. 9-13-7-1 for me in the superfecta. 9-13-7-1 super. Top selection 9 horse Bravaro. 3-year-old called by Upstart. Safi Joseph Jr. trains. Gets Gonzalo's up in the saddle. Blinkers on today. Ran most recently in the Fountain of Youth at Gulfstream, mile 16th, 28th of February, and the horse finished fourth by 11 lengths that day, and didn't get out of the gate so clearly. Had the steady going to the first turn, and basically 7.5 furlongs from home, his race was over. He just really never concentrated. He moved ever so slightly late. But Commandment, who's the Derby favorite right now, really came home clear. This horse just wasn't getting into it. I do think getting blinkers on, coming to a mile and eighth, hopefully getting more forwardly paced in his most recent race. If he does that, I think he could concentrate to the run and get the job done. I think he has potential to be a good horse here today. He ran 2 back in the Holy Bull at Gulfstream, mile 16th, 31st January, and he pitched second by 5 3/4 lengths that day. And he stalked that day, nearly just had the jump on him. It was a horse first start around 2 turns, also first start against Open Company. I didn't think he ran half bad. He should have improved a little bit more, but he showed his heart out that day. And then his race before that against State Brides weren't bad at all. He was undefeated basically. He won the Sleepy Hollow over the 1 turn mile here at Aqueduct in the fall. Won by 2 1/4 lengths from mid pack. That was a very good driving victory. And broke his main here at the end of September in a very nice main special weight win by a length. Again, a little bit wide, but he flew home clear. Training well, Palm Meadows. He's bred for this trip through and through. It's if he could concentrate on the run, I think he can win. I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 13 horse here, Iron Honor for Manny Franco and Chad, can win also. Coming out of the Gotham here over the 1 turn mile in late February, he won by a length that day, 95 cents to the dollar. He flew home clear on the front end. That was a very good race for this horse with 90 buyer. Is refreshing around 2 turns. Now the wide poster is not ideal from the 12 hole here at Aqueduct going 2 turns, but he's going to have to use some forwardly pace to get some good position, but he's going to have to hold on in the lane also, hold on to have some left in the lane. But if he could save some ground at least around 1 turn, I think he could win. He won on debut here right after in mid-December over the 6 furlongs, won by 2 1/4 lengths that day. Again, he was a little bit wide, but he dueled home clear. A very, very good run. Quite a few horses out of that race were next star winners. That was a decent main special weight in December here at Aqueduct. He's, like I said, he's bred for this trip through and through. He's training well at Belmont. The poster is not ideal for him, but I think he has potential. I'll use him on the ticket. And also watch out for the 7 horse Albus for Jamie Torres and Riley Mott. Stepping up a major class here today, but his race at Tampa over the mile 40 at the end of February wasn't bad at all. Won by 6 3/4 lengths. His races as a 2-year-old weren't bad at all. That race from the rail on the 29th of November, I just thought he wasn't really comfortable that day, but he's bred for this trip through and through, I think. At 12 to 1, I'll give him a shot here as an upsetter in this very wide open Wood Memorial. But to recount my selection for the 12th now from Aqueduct, it is the grade 2, $750,000 final Wood Memorial here at Aqueduct. Going to take the 9 horse Bravaro, give kudos to the 13 horse Iron Honor and the 7 horse Albus, 913 7-1 Super, 913-7 to end off the multi-race wagers. With that being said, good luck to all, and please follow me on X at Horse Racing Kit 5. Good luck, everybody.